slapped in congratulations for a job well done. Reeling with the inebriation, more of success than of the fruit punch, he wended his way through the crowd. His destination was the woman, standing beneath one of the high-arched openings leading outside. When he got within speaking distance, she turned suddenly and looked directly at him. Scout was stopped dead in his tracks. He sucked in a quick breath. The almond-shaped eyes tilted up slightly at the corners weren't dark brown as he had expected, but blue, neon blue, electrifying and stupefying blue. "Scout, where are you off to? Glad I caught you before you got away." His elbow was grabbed from behind and he was brought around, keeping his gaze locked with the woman's for as long as possible. His head reluctantly followed his body around. "Ah, Mr. Reynolds." He shook the hand extended to him. "Corey," the hotel magnate corrected Scout. "You've done a terrific job. Getting tired of hearing that yet?" Scout shook his head and laughed self-derisively. "Never. It goes without saying how pleased we are. I speak for everyone in the corporation." "Thank you, sir." Scout couldn't afford to be rude to the man who had signed his hefty paychecks, but he glanced quickly over his shoulder. She had disappeared. Damn. "It wasn't an easy undertaking," Corey Reynolds was saying, "especially when one considers all the hardships you faced during the construction." Scout asked, "You mean the islanders' attitude toward work?" The other man nodded. "They definitely do not comprehend the meaning of deadlines or the 8-hour workday," Scout said ruefully. "Overtime incentives never lured them away from a celebration, and they have about 10 of those a month. That didn't bother me nearly as much as the thievery, though. I apologize again for going over budget on the supplies." "It wasn't your fault that they kept disappearing. I know you tried every way you could think of to catch the thieves." "Wily bastards," Scout said beneath his breath. "I even sat up 4 nights straight keeping vigil. The night I decided that it was futile and went to bed, we were hit again." Catching a glimpse of white out the corner of his eye, Scout swiveled his head toward the terrace. There was nothing there but moonlight and sultry, fragrant air. Was she still out there, lurking in the shadows of the tropical gardens? "With yourself?" "Huh?" What had Mr. Reynolds asked him? Oh, yes. "No, I haven't seen anything of the island except the area immediately around here. I thought I'd take off a week or so before flying home." "Good idea. Give yourself time to wind down before your wedding. I presume it's still on?" "Late next month." Mr. Reynolds smiled and asked, "How is Miss Colfax?" Corey Reynolds had been introduced to Jennifer Colfax at a dinner party in Boston, where the Reynolds Group was headquartered. At that point, the Coral Reef Resort had been only an architectural rendering. It pleased Scout that the CEO remembered his fiancée's name. He could always count on Jennifer to make a good impression. "Her letters indicate that she's fine," he replied. "Still beautiful?" Scout grinned expansively. "Very." The older man chuckled. "You're a trusting young man to leave her for this long a time." "We came to an understanding before I left. I couldn't very well expect her to sit home alone every night while I was away. She's been free to date, as long as it's kept on a platonic basis." "You're not only trustful but generous. Still, I know she's eager to have her fiancé back in the States." Scout shrugged. "She went to Europe for several weeks during the summer, and she's had her aunt's antique shop to help keep her busy." "Oh?" Reynolds inquired with polite interest. "What does she do there?" "Dabbles is the word that comes to mind." Jennifer did a lot of dabbling, in antiques, in music, in fashion. "My wife dabbles too, when she's not shopping," Corey Reynolds added on a laugh. Sipping at his glass of punch, he asked, "Lovely, aren't they?" Scout followed the direction of Mr. Reynolds's gaze. He was watching one of the island girls hired for the night to serve canapés. She was dressed in a short floral print sarong that had been artfully wrapped around her lithe body. Like most of the island women, she was petite and very pretty, with glossy black hair, snapping dark eyes, and a ready smile. "Even though I'm engaged to be married," Scout said, "I haven't failed to notice that one of Parrish Island's natural resources is its lovely female population." Reynolds directed his attention back to Scout. "What do you plan to do here on the island during your R&R? Lose myself, escape from delays, slow-moving workers, and the telephone, go fishing, maybe get in some hunting, body surf, lie on the beach, and do absolutely nothing." He leaned forward and added, "If I get captured by a lovely, bare-breasted native girl, don't come looking for me anytime soon." Corey Reynolds chuckled and slapped him on the back. "You rascal. I like your sense of humor." They shook hands, and again, Corey Reynolds praised Scout's engineering feat. "I'll see you back in Boston. I want to talk over some future projects with you. Let's you, the lovely Jennifer, and I have lunch soon." "We would enjoy that very much, sir. Thank you." Watching the older man move away, Scout was barely able to contain his excitement. He didn't want to become part of the Reynolds group. His personality didn't fit the corporate mode. He would find that environment creatively stifling. But he certainly wanted another contract with the group, and it looked as though that was what Corey Reynolds had in mind. The Coral Reef Resort project had been Scout's first break into the big time. He knew the importance of capitalizing on his success while he was still on the minds of the decision-makers. After his talk with Corey Reynolds, he felt even more that he had something to celebrate. Taking another glass of punch from a waitress bearing a silver tray, he moved through the archway to the terrace beyond. The exterior walls of the sprawling resort were garnished with bougainvillea vines heavy with clusters of their vibrant flowers. No expense had been spared to decorate the hotel inside and out. Priceless oriental urns held lush ferns and ornamental palms. Natural plumeria trees had been pruned to perfection. Like gigantic fireflies, torches flickered inside stonework lanterns, strategically placed along winding paths through the gardens. From the main terrace, wide, shallow steps led down to another level. One path curved left toward the tri-level swimming pool with its man-made waterfall and ornate fountains. Another path led down to the beach, where the sand was a pale blonde ribbon between the manicured lawn and the gently lapping surf. Revelers seeking privacy had drifted out of the ballroom. A group of Asian men discussed business over drinks at a table on the lower terrace. Beneath a palm tree on the lawn, a couple kissed, oblivious to everything except each other. Another couple strolled hand in hand in the surf, still wearing their evening clothes, their shoes dangling from their hands. In the center of the moonlit panorama stood a solitary figure. Scout, as one under the command of a hypnotist, moved down the steps toward her. The moonlight on her white dress made her as visible in the darkness as the beacon of a lighthouse. She stood motionless, facing the ocean, staring across the water as though communing with it in a silent and sacred manner. Hell of a dress, Scout thought as he moved closer. Jennifer wouldn't have approved of it. Not many New England women would have. It was painfully simple, but blatantly sexy. There was a high slit on one thigh. One shoulder was left completely bare by the form-fitting garment. The balmy breeze molded its fabric to her, delineating her breasts and the V of her thighs. Scout's thoughts were the same ones that kept priests in business. He felt a momentary stab of guilt because of Jennifer. But she was on the other side of the world. This island seemed as far removed from Jennifer and Boston as another planet. Rules and codes of behavior that applied there were of no more use.